Hello and welcome back. Today guys, we're going to be checking out The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution, because Cold Beans asked us, can you play Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution please, because I would love to see a reaction if you okayed the first one. And absolutely I did okay the first one. I thought it was a great game. In fact, I thought it was one of the best games on the Oculus Quest 2, especially in comparison to some of the other titles. Now with that out of the way, let's talk about some of the stuff we'll be breaking down in this video, which are just 10 things I wish I knew about the game before I started playing it, and these can be carried over to the first game as well, but a lot of this is going to mainly do with the second game. Of course, there were a lot of upgrades and updates to that game, so we'll be breaking that stuff down today in this video. But guys, real quickly before we get into this video, if you would like the video, if you find it informative, and subscribe to the channel if you want more VR content. Now with all that stuff out of the way, let's get into these 10 things I wish I knew about The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 2 Retribution before I played the game. Number 1, starting off with something simple, holding the bag directly above the recycle bin is going to be your best option to recycling things very quickly, and basically not having to fumble around your little cabin or your little bus with all the items you're trying to pull out of the backpack. As most of you know, the items can be of very different sizes, where it varies from a shotgun to a can, a keyboard, etc. Some of these items come out of the bag all weird, so if you hold your bag directly above the recycle bin, then you can kind of just pull stuff straight from the bag and drop it in with a lot less issues. This is gonna make a lot less clipping problems for most of you guys, and of course it makes the recycling process a hell of a lot faster. Number 2, knives are for zombies and guns are for humans. Now, I say this because knives are pretty universal in this game, and of course you can kill just about anyone with them, but humans know how to shoot guns, which means that humans will be at a distance in most of this game from you unless you're running up on someone or sneaking up on them. So generally you want to use your knives and sharp objects to kill zombies because of how reusable they are, and of course they're quiet, and use guns on humans because humans can notice where you are. Of course, humans can start shooting at you, humans can pack up just like the zombies and come after you, but with freaking guns. So when it comes to fighting humans, you're going to want to make sure you have enough ammunition to fight them from a distance and hopefully be able to sneak up on them. You don't want to just run into a compound full of humans with only a knife. Definitely make sure you bring a gun if you're going to fight any of the human factions. Now of course, if you're really good and skilled at this game, you don't really need to do this. You can challenge yourself. It's not like a hard line, but it's definitely something you should consider when fighting human factions. Number 3, the crafting tables in the early game are kind of confusing just because there are so many choices to pick from, especially in the sequel, on basically what to do. But my advice is to craft at the knife table first to upgrade that as much as possible to get the backpack upgrade and the sharp object upgrades that you'll need. And additionally, I would also craft at the bow and arrows or the medicines table. These two tables are the most important for your early game for you to get further in the game. In my previous run, or the very first time I played The Walking Dead, this was one of the things I did not pay attention to as much, and I was just upgrading all of the tables, trying to see where they go, trying to see what I can unlock. And later in the game, I really needed that medicine stuff to basically get further, because early on you're not challenged a lot, but in the later game you will be, and you will need that medicine. You will need basically to fix your sickness bar and fix your health bar regularly, rather than just being able to run or anything like that. Now I don't generally take a lot of damage when I'm playing this game, but that sickness is definitely something that affects my character a lot. So you do want to unlock both of these little bases or these workbenches before you really start digging into the meat of the game. Number 4. This one is actually kind of funny because it's definitely happened to me on several occasions, which is why I added it to the list. Keep your weapons put away at all times around humans that you want to see the storyline through. So if there's a part of this game and you're basically new to it, maybe you didn't get to see this particular faction storyline or something, and you definitely want to see it, then definitely keep your freaking weapons put away, because anytime you pull your weapons out, humans start to get on edge, and some of them will even attack you. Now, the real reason I say to keep them put away is because you never know what might happen, whether you're too close to an NPC or you're just pulling your knife out to play with it because you're bored as hell of whatever the dialogue they're talking about is, and then next thing you know, you've accidentally pulled it across an NPC without meaning to stab them or slice at them, and now you've pissed off this faction and you can't even complete the storyline because you've got to kill everybody in the room, which is definitely something that's happened to me before. Number 5. Avoid killing zombies when necessary. So what I mean by this is that you don't have to go on a rampage every time you go outside, guys. You can completely and totally avoid these zombies in this game. In fact, I think most of them are meant to just be avoided rather than fought. There are sections of the game where it's clear that they want you to fight hordes of zombies, but for a majority of the scavenging and exploration of this game, you will want to avoid the zombies, as hitting them and fighting them will only dwindle your resources. Now, of course, I'm not saying don't fight zombies. I'm just saying you don't want to go out and just use all of your resources at the beginning of the game on just fun and mayhem, getting rid of these zombies. If you want to go on a killing spree, maybe wait until a bit later in the game when you have the resources to blow on basically just running out, attacking zombies, wasting weapons, wasting the durability of your weapons, wasting ammunition, if you want to. I just don't suggest doing this early in the game, as those resources are a bit more limited early on. If you'd like to help support this content, you can check us out over on Patreon, as I just recently revamped the whole thing and added a bunch of new content for you guys to go check out over there, and some of it I can't upload here to YouTube, so it's kind of extra special for you guys to check out over there. Plus, we do a lot of behind the scenes stuff and giveaways. So guys, if you'd like to help support the channel, then please check us out on Patreon. Link in the description below. Number 6. Tracking items for crafting can make you upgrade a table much faster. So in the crafting tables, they'll always show you how much you need to basically collect from scrap in order to upgrade to the next tier of that crafting table. So essentially what I'm saying here is just go ahead and hit the track button on the tables that you're already going to be looking for items for. There's no reason not to do this or to leave it alone, because you're always going to be after an upgrade on your table until they're all finished. So you're going to definitely want to only be picking up items that you really need. Tracking those items will make this go a lot quicker when you're out and about. Number 7. Reducing the Visionette to 0 will give you a wider field of view in the darkness of the game. Basically what this is the game's nausea or motion sickness reduction for the player. And if you go into your options menu and you turn this all the way down to 0, you'll notice you have a way better field of view in this game. And yes, if you are prone to illness when playing VR, this may not be great for you, but for the majority of us that are not, this is a great option, as it increases your field of view a lot and basically makes it to where you can actually find things in the darkness a lot easier, very specifically, because that Visionette, when combined with the darkness, kind of creates somewhat of a blackout on the edges of all your screen, and that's just no good when playing a game in the dark like this. Number 8. Now this is something that only affects the sequel game, but I really wish I knew that I could transfer my data up, and I did know that there would be this to some degree, but I didn't know, for example, that you would be transferring a lot of your crafting to the sequel game. And for me, I lost my save data before being able to play the sequel, so it doesn't really matter that much. But for those of you guys out there who were not sure if this was a thing, and let's say you have 2 quests and you bought a copy of this on the first quest, and maybe it's an older quest, maybe it's got lower amount of gigabytes for storage, so you bought a newer one, and now you've got both of them, so you're upgrading, and you've bought the new game for your new quest. Well, you won't keep your save data from that first game on there, so you'll have to play it on that old quest. Number 9. Bows, swords, and knives are essentially reusable to a great degree, while everything else is not. So guns seem reusable because you're going to load them, use ammunition, but they do degrade. Knives degrade and bows degrade as well. However, when firing a bow, you can always retrieve the arrow. You can basically make a really strong bow that won't degrade over time, and the same can be said for knives and swords. However, with the guns, blunt objects, and a lot of the stuff like that, especially cool weapons that you just find out there in the middle of nowhere, they will degrade and they'll go away pretty quickly. So stuff you'll definitely want to hang on to or get good at is the reusable stuff. So try to get good at swinging a sword, get good at throwing a knife, get good at shooting a bow and recovering your arrows. Now this isn't absolutely required or anything like that, but you definitely want to know what is reusable in this game so you can at least carry one of those things on you and not just a bunch of guns. Number 10. human. Some humans or human factions may try to get revenge on you when you kill NPCs or other humans, so definitely be careful who you decide to off in these games, because your choices do matter. Stuff does come back to bite you in the ass if you don't pay attention to what you're doing, and some humans will totally seek revenge on you for killing other NPCs or humans. So definitely watch out for who you're getting rid of in this game, as you never know who's going to be coming after you do so. Unless, of course, you played through the game a few times and you do know, and you do kill everyone, and you are perfectly satisfied with that. To each their own. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video and checking out 10 things I wish I knew about The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 2 Retribution before I started playing. Now, of course, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you want more VR content, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.